Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, talked a little bit about this in Budget Committee, which I've had an opportunity to serve on and for 3 years now. And it's oddly kind of one of my favorite committees to be on with all the interesting topics that happen here. I do think raised a lot of good points by the prior member that spoke. The budget that we were presented, again, for the second year in a row by the administration, it was a complete joke. It was laughable. And so in some ways, I commend the legislature for putting together something that at least deserves a vote. Mine will be no, but at least does some things that aren't as dishonorable as what was presented to us. Because it is embarrassing that when the governor says one of the top priorities in this state is housing, and he zeroes out every dollar for housing, how are we supposed to accomplish the objectives that he's laid out and put no money behind or no effort? All that effort on housing has come from the legislature, not the administration. How embarrassing is it for the state of California and to be lectured by this governor on the values of this state when you defund IHSS, when you defund our critical healthcare system for everybody in this state, for the developmentally disabled, for those with disabilities, the people that need the help the most were the first to lose coverage under this governor for the second year in a row. It's disgusting. And I do think it's nice that this legislature has done something, although not enough, to put in money for Proposition 36, which the voters have demanded time and time again and continue to demand an effort on public safety. So the legislature has at least put forward something that is serious, but what you received in the May revise for the second year in a row was not a serious document. 22 years ago, when I had a full head of hair, Mr. Speaker, I started as an intern in this place. And 15 years ago, this budget cycle, I actually worked for a Republican leader. At the time, we had a few more Republicans at that time, not to be partisan or anything like that. But I was working for that Republican leader, and many of the issues a decade and a half ago are exactly the same today as they were back then. I remember sitting meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting with people concerned about their Medi-Cal being cut or not enough reimbursement rates to our healthcare providers. It's the same exact issue 15 years later, despite government revenues going through the roof. So I know a lot of people in this body want to expand Medi-Cal to undocumented immigrants. I understand that. But there's a systemic issue with Medi-Cal funding. You can't get access. If you're on Medi-Cal, go through the directory and try to find a doctor, especially if you have a special need. Try to find a doctor. We have to address the systemic issues around healthcare in this state, and we have not done that. And that goes more to Proposition 35, which this budget doesn't comply with the will of the voters. We're taking money away from the providers. We have a lack of providers already, and this money takes away. If we want to expand healthcare, if you actually want to expand access, we have to make sure there are enough providers out there.
30 seconds.
I won't get in too much about what this does to education funding. Again, for the second year in a row, it borrows from Proposition 98. It borrows off the backs of our students. And it does nothing to do what time and time again people have said is the most important issue to them, and that's the cost of living. So with that, I respectfully ask for a no vote.